Everyone, I am Sunil Kumar. In this video, I am going to talk about quicksort. So before understanding quicksort, let us try to understand what is partition algorithm. See what is partition algorithm. Let me explain with one example. So this is partition algorithm. Let us understand partition algorithm. You can say this is the heart of quicksort. Once you understand partition algorithm, so quicksort will become very easy and very simple. So let us try to understand what is actually partition algorithm. So let me take one array. Let's suppose, so this array contains, let's suppose name of this array is A, and array contains 8 elements. So this is index number 1, index number 2, index number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let us take 8. So let us store some random values. So it is 6, so I have stored some random values in this array. Let us first understand. So this is the first starting index, so which is pointed by P, and this is the last index which is pointed by Q. So what is partition algorithm actually? So you have to follow some of these some steps in order to understand what is partition algorithm. So first you have to assume pivot element. So you can assume pivot element either first element or either last element. You can assume, you can take first element as a pivot element, or you can take a last element as a pivot element. In this example I will explain by taking first element as a pivot element. So first step is, so follow these steps. So select the pivot element, select pivot element. You can take either first element or last element. So selecting the pivot element is the first step. So let's suppose x equal to a of p, means first element we have selected. Now what is second step? So in the second step, once after selecting the pivot elements, we need to find the any element which is smaller than pivot element from second elements onward. We need to find the any smaller elements which is lesser than pivot element. So second step is, let's suppose first index is pointed by another variable, let's say which is I, and second is because we want to compare from second element onwards. So let's say this is j is pointing to the second location because we want to compare from the second elements onwards. So if, let's suppose, if a of j less than x, means any elements which is lesser than pivot elements, then what action needs to be performed? First we are going to increment the value of I. So we are going to increment the value of I equal to I plus 1. Then we will immediately interchange the value of a of I and a of j. Interchange a of I and a of j. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so these two steps we need to perform if a of j less than x. Now, so we will repeat this process. We will compare with each and every elements of this array. Once this pass is going to be completed, then last step we need to perform interchange a of I and a of p. So this is what the last step we need to perform. So let us follow these three steps. So first step is what we have to do. We have to select the pivot elements. Either we can choose first element as a pivot element, or we can choose last element as a pivot element. So in this example I am considering first element as a pivot element. So I have selected 6 as a pivot element. This is my pivot elements. Pivot element. Okay, so now second step is I need to find the smaller elements from second elements onwards. So I'm comparing second elements. So a of j is means second elements. A of j is 10 in this case. 10 less than x means pivot element 6. Now condition true or false? In this case condition is false. It means I did not get elements which is smaller than 6. Then I cannot execute these two statements. So simply I will have to increment the value of j so that I can compare with the next element. So I will increment the value of j. Okay, then again I will compare. A of j means what? Now a of j is 13. A of j is 13. Now 13 less than 6, condition is still false, because 13 less than 6 condition is false. So now again simply I will increment the value of j. Now because I did not, this is also not less than pivot element, so I will simply increment the value of j. Now let us compare. A of j means what? A of j means 5. Now 5 less than 6, condition is true. It means I got smaller elements than pivot elements. Then what I need to do? I have to increment the value of I first. So let us increment. I is pointing first element now. So now I is pointing to the first element. So if I increment, so it will start pointing to the second elements. I have incremented the value of I. Now I is pointing to the location 2. Okay, so I have incremented. Then I need to interchange A of I and A of j. A of I means what? 10. A of j means 5. So it will become 5 and it will become 10. So it will become 5 and it will become 10. So next, so simply because we have compared with this elements, now we have to compare with the next elements also. So simply we will increment j. Now 8 less than 6, condition true or false? Condition is false. So I am not going to execute these two statements. So simply I will increment the value of j. I will increment the value of j. Now 3. So this is 3. A of j is what? 3. Condition true. Condition true. Then what I will do? I will immediately increment the value of I first. So I is pointing to index number 2. So now it will increment. So I will start pointing to the index number 3. So it is it is pointing to index number 3. So let us. Okay, next once I will increment the value of I have incremented with now I is pointing to index number 3. I will interchange A of I and A of j. A of I means what? 13. A of j means what? 3. So 13 will become 3 and it will become 13. So I have done these two, I have executed these two statements because I have done comparison also. So I will simply increment the value of j. I will simply increment the value of j because I need to compare with the next element. Okay, now A of j. What is A of j now? A of j is nothing but 2. Condition true or false? Condition is true. Now again I will increment the value of I because I is currently pointing to the location 3. So I will increment. Now I have incremented the value of I. So I is pointing to the index number 4. So now, so I have incremented. Now interchange A of I and A of j. A of I means what? 10. A of j means what? 2. So it will become 2 and it will become 10. Yes, it will become 2 and it will become 10. Now then simply I will increment the value of I. J. So it is going to be j. Now j will become 8. Now A of j is nothing but A of j is what? 11. 11 less than 6, condition false. Condition false, it means I am not going to execute these two statements. So simply I will increment the value of j. Now j will point to index number 9, so which is out of the array. So now because this one pass is completed, it means I have compared with every elements with the pivot elements. So I have to execute the last statement. Once this pass is completed, when j will become out of the once j will reach out of this array, now I can execute last statement. What is last statement? Interchange A of I and A of p. A of I means I is pointing to the index number 4 and p is pointing to the index number 1. So A of p is 6, A of I is what? 2. So you have to interchange. So 2 will become 6 and 6 will become 2. So this is what we have done, partition algorithm. So let us write the final array. What is final array? So it index number 1, index number 2, this is index number 3, index number 4, index number 5, index number 6, index number 7, and this is index number 8. Name of the array is A. So now what is first element? This is 2, second element is 5, now third element is 3, fourth element is 6, now next element is 8, next element is 13, next element is 10, next element is 11. Now we have assumed 6 as a pivot element. 6 as a pivot element. We have assumed 6 as a pivot element. So now if you see all the elements which are like all the elements which are smaller than pivot elements are available on the left hand side, and all the elements which are greater than pivot elements are available on the right hand side of this array. So all the elements which are greater than will be available on the right hand side, and all the elements which are smaller than pivot elements. So these are the smaller elements, then pivot elements. and these are the greater elements, then you can say greater than pivot elements. See, now if you sort this array, so because this part is not actually sorted, 2 5 3, so it is after partition there is no guarantee left part is going to be sorted or right part is going to be sorted, but there is a guarantee pivot element will reach to its correct position. Now once partition will be done, 6 or pivot element will reach to its correct position. Means if you sort this array, then 6 will be at index number 4 only. It will be on index number 4 only. Means this is the correct position. Partition decides the correct position of pivot elements. So what you will do now, previously you were having that problem 1 to 8. Now you will perform partition on 1 to 3 because this is unsorted array for you, and similarly you are going to perform partition algorithm from 5 to 8. Then you see, in this case we are going to assume, let's suppose this is problem for you, this is the problem. Now in this case you are going to assume 2 as a pivot elements. After partition, this 2 is going to be at its correct position. So then again, so how many elements will be on left hand side? So there is no elements on the left hand side because 2 is on the correct position. Now there are 2 elements which are greater than pivot elements, so 5 and 3. So 5 and 3 will be unsorted. Again you are going to apply partition on this part. So similarly you can keep on applying the partition. How many times you have to apply partition algorithms? N times. So let us try to understand. Okay, let us try to implement the partition algorithm. Otherwise we can take another example to understand this algorithm. Let me take another example also, how partition how we are doing partition. Let us take another example. This time we are taking less number of elements in this array. 1 2 3 4 5, let's say 6 elements in this array. So let us assume this is 15, this is 6, let's say this is 8, let us assume this is 19, or you can say this is 18, let's suppose this is 7, this is 28. So this is again I want to apply partition algorithm. So this is P is the starting index and Q is the last index, and I is another variable I need to take, which is I, and J is pointing, J will point to the next location, J will point to the index number 2. Now in this case, what is pivot elements? I will definitely assume first element as a pivot element. I will assume first element as a pivot element. So now my pivot element is 15. So I have selected the pivot element which is 15 in this case. So what I will do, I will again compare pivot element with from the second elements onwards. Now what is the value of A of j? A of j is 6 less than x is what? X is 15. Condition is true. Condition is true, then you need to execute these two statements. First statement is just increment the value of I. I is pointing to the index number 1. So once you will increment, so it will start pointing to the index number 2. Now then it is saying interchange A of I and A of j. A of I is also 6, A of j is also 6. So interchange. If you interchange, it will become 6. Because A of I is also 6, A of j is also 6. So it will remain same. Okay. Then because we have already compared with this element, so simply we are going to increment the value of j. Simply we are going to increment the value of j. Now 18 less than, so A of j is now 18. 18 less than 15, condition is false. Condition is false. Then because we cannot execute these two statements, then simply I will increment the value of j. So now 19 less than 15, again condition is false. I will increment simply j. Now this time A of j is what? A of j is 7. 7 less than 15, condition is true this time. So if condition is true, if condition is true, then I need to increment the value of 5. So I is pointing to index number 2. Once I will increment, it will start pointing to the index number 3. Now what is A of C? Now you have to interchange A of I and A of j. A of I is what? 18, A of j is 7. So interchange, it will become 7 and it will become 18. It will become 7 and it will become 18. Now then simply because we have already compared with this, so simply increment the value of j. Now what we can do, A of j means what? 28 less than 15, pivot element, condition false. So simply we are going to increment the value of j. Now j will become 7. Condition because j is out of the array, so we will stop this procedure. Now we will execute final step, which is interchange a of I and a of p. A of I is what? I is pointing to the index number 3 and p is pointing to index number 5, index number 1. So simply 7 will become 15 and 15 will become 7. Now let us write the final array. Let us write the final array. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6. Now, so this is what in this is the array. Now what is the final array? So 7. Now second element is 6. Third element is 15. Next element is 19. Now next is 18. Next is 28. See, in this case, now we have assumed 15 as a pivot element. So this is what pivot element. Now all the elements which are smaller than pivot elements are available on the left hand side. All the elements which are greater than pivot element, greater than pivot elements are available on the right hand side. If you observe, so this part is not sorted, and this part is also not sorted. So partition does not also give you the guarantee, so it is going to sort the entire array, but it gives you the guarantee if you assume first element as a pivot element, so it always fix the pivot elements to its correct position. If you sort this array, so 15 will be 15 will be its own correct position. So this 15 will be on index number 3. So this is the position, correct position for 15. So now see, I is pointing to index number 3. So I is deciding from where I need to partition. So I is deciding from where I need to partition. Means what? So my problem is basically because I is deciding, so this is the next element and this is the previous element. So I can apply partition on this particular part and I can apply partition on this particular part. So now my problem is, so this is my problem, left part problem, and this is my right side problem. So again I will apply partition algorithm on left hand side, again I will apply partition algorithm on right hand side. So let us try to implement the partition algorithm code. So in the first step, so partition means what? Partition, we are doing partition of the array. So A will be the input, A means what? Array. Now P is the starting index, Q is the last index. Now then in the in first step what we are doing, we are assuming first element as a pivot element. So let us write int x equal to A of P. So this is what, now we are assuming first element as a pivot element. Now what we are doing, so this is our first element. So P is pointing to the first index number, Q is pointing to the second index number. Now we are we are bringing another two variables I and J. I is pointing to the, so we will assign P value into I. So P value will be assigned to I. So I will start pointing to the index number 1. So I will start pointing to the index number 1 now. So I want to assign J also. So what could be the J value? So J is going to be P plus 1. So let me, because I want to compare with the every element, so let me put in for loop. So it is going to be J, I need to run this loop up to Q last. So it is going to be J less than Q, then J plus plus. I need to increment the value of J also. Then in this, what I'm doing actually, I am doing these two actions. What? If A of J less than X, then I'm doing these two steps. So you can write down, if A of J less than X, then what you're doing, you're incrementing the value of I first, then interchanging the value of, interchange A of I and A of J. This is what you're doing if condition is true. So this is what your if, and this is what your for. Okay, so see, once this pass will be completed, then you are executing the last step. So this is what interchange A of I and A of P. A of I and A of P. So this is what the third step you are executing. So this is about partition algorithm code. So let us try to understand what is quicksort also. Let me write the quicksort. So because once you understand partition, quicksort will become very easy. So let me explain quicksort also. So let's suppose we are applying quicksort on array, unsorted array, and P is the starting index, Q is the last index. Let's suppose if array contains only one element, so do we need to sort that elements? One element is always sorted, so we need to so if P equal to Q, it means array contains only one element, so simply one array is always sorted, so you don't need to perform sorting and all. So simply you can return that element A of P, because array contains only one element. Okay, so we need to take care of this first condition also. Else it means what? Else means what? Array contains more than one element. If array contains more than one element, then what we will do? We will apply partition algorithm. Partition. So let us apply partition. Partition on what? On array. P is the starting index, Q will be the last index. What will happen after partition? I will decide the whether this partition, whatever we have assumed pivot elements, it will that particular pivot element will reach to its correct position. So we can return the value of I. So this partition algorithm will return the correct position of pivot elements. So let us store into the m variable. Okay, so now, so let's suppose this is the I partition algorithm. Now, once this pivot elements will reach to its correct position, then we need to apply again quicksort on this particular part, and once this part is completed, then we need to apply quicksort on this right hand side part. So quicksort we will apply quicksort on left hand side. So A will be the input, P will be the last index, and because this pivot element we have assumed which is already on correct position, then we need to apply previous one. So it is going to be so if it is m, so it is going to be m minus 1. Last index would be m minus 1, because I value I have stored in m, so m minus 1. Now again, once this problem will be solved, then I need to apply on right hand side. Again I will apply quicksort on right hand side. Quicksort A m plus 1, then it is going to be Q, and finally I will return the sorted array. So this is what the implementation of quicksort. So let us try to write the recurrence relation for quicksort. A recurrence relation for quicksort. So see what is a recurrence relation for quicksort. Let's suppose quicksort is taking let's suppose n elements problem. Quicksort is of n elements problem. So let's say there are n elements in the array, and quicksort takes t of n time to sort the n elements. So see now this is what? This is actually comparison. So comparison will always take only order of one time. Now this is what we are calling partition algorithm. So what is happening in the partition algorithm? Partition algorithm, there is only one for loop. So for loop will always take, because we are executing that for loop up to a number of elements. So we are comparing an element, so it will take order of n time. So it is going to take order of n. Now so see, let's suppose this was your array, and after applying partition, that pivot element reached to its correct position. So there are some elements on the left hand side, and there are some elements which are on the right hand side. So let us assume now this part is solving the half elements problem, and this part is also solving the half elements problem. But this is possible in actual, this is possible in best case. Maybe that pivot element is dividing into two parts. ny2 elements are available on the left hand side, ny2 elements are available on the right hand side. So then we have to perform quicksort on ny2 elements, then we have to perform quicksort on ny2 element. So in order to solve an elements problem, it takes t of n. So in order to solve ny2 elements, it is going to take t of ny2. Now this is again t of ny2. Once we solve this left hand side problem, then we are going to solve right hand side problem also. Then we are returning simply one sorted array. So sorted array it will take order of one time, because we are returning. So what is that recurrence relation? So tn by 2 plus tn by 2, it is going to be 2 tn by 2 plus partition is also taking n. So plus constant, so it will not affect the recurrence relation. If by adding the constant it will not affect. So C, so this is the recurrence relation for quicksort in based case. Now let me discuss in worst case what will happen. Let's suppose, let me clear this. See, what is the recurrence relation in worst case? So let's suppose I'm having input. So with this example, I will make you understand what is worst case recurrence relation for quicksort. Let's suppose input is 1, 2, 3, 8. So let's say 9. This is 13. This is 15. Means already sorted array. So see, if you try to apply quicksort on this already sorted array, so what you will do, first you will assume first element as a pivot elements. So after partition, this element will reach to its correct position. And what is the correct position for one? This first index is the correct position for this particular pivot elements. So if initially you were solving n elements problem, after partition you are again solving n-1 problem, n-1 elements problem. So initially you were solving t of n elements problem. So let's suppose n elements problem is solved in t of n time. So after partition you are solving n-1 elements problem. So let us take, okay, that is because one possibility. Now once after solving that once partition, now again you are assuming first element as a pivot elements, because there is no element on the left hand side, but there are n-1 elements on the right hand side. So again you will solve this problem. Let's suppose this is the for you this is the n elements problem now. Okay, so again you are going to assume this element as a pivot elements. So because after partition this element will reach to its correct position. What would be the correct position? That index number 2 is going to be the correct position for value 2. Then again you need to solve n-1 elements problem. So every time you are solving n-1 elements problem, so it will take t of n-1. And you're calling partition also. Partition always takes how much time? Partition always take order of n time. So this is what the recurrence relation for quicksort in worst case. If you solve this recurrence relation, so it will give you time complexity. Based case we are saying, so it is big omega of n log n. So this is what the time complexity in based case for quicksort. Now if you solve this method, I have already made a video for this recurrence relation, how to solve the recurrence relation using substitution method. You can watch that video. So if you try to solve this, so it is going to be order of n square. So in worst case, because I am representing capital O is nothing but big O notation, and big O notation means big O order of n square. So time complexity is in worst case time complexity of quicksort is order of n square. So this is what the quicksort in worst case and in best case. So let us assume another scenarios. So let me give you one more example. Let us assume one scenario. Let's suppose we are having n elements problem. And we are assuming first element as a pivot element. After partition, let's suppose this element reach to its correct position, and that correct position, let's suppose this is the correct position. Let us assume after partition this pivot element is reaching to its correct position, and all the elements which are smaller then will be available on the left hand side, and all the elements which are available on the right hand side will be available. All the elements which are available on will be available. All the elements which are greater than pivot elements will be available on the right hand side. So it means what? So let us assume this side 1/4 elements are available. This is also possibility. This side 1/4 elements is available, and this side let's say 3/4 elements are available. See, because we have assumed this is the best case. So means that first element or pivot element is dividing into two equal parts. It is not guaranteed. It will always divide into two parts, equal parts. It will divide into two parts, but those two parts are not going to be equal. This time because we have taken into consideration n by 2 elements will be available this side, n by 2 elements will be available this side. So that is the reason I have written that recurrence relation. But if you try to solve, so maybe that pivot element is dividing into two parts, but on left hand side 1/4 element are available, another side 3/4 elements are available. Maybe this is also possibility. 3/4 elements, so pivot element is reaching to its correct position. This time 3/4 elements are available on left hand side, 1/4 elements are available on right hand side. Let us take another example, another possibility. Once you divide, so let's suppose this is the correct position. This time 1/3 elements are available on left hand side and 2/3 elements are available on right hand side. So if you try to make this sum, so this is going to be 1/4 plus 3/4 is going to be 100%, and 3/4 plus 1/4 is going to be 1. So again 1 by 3, so this is 33% and this is 66%. So ultimately they are 100% elements. So what would be the time complexity in that case? So time complexity is going to be actually n log n. N log n. But see, here I was dividing into two parts and those two parts are equal. So that is the reason I was taking, in this case I have taken n log n, time complexity is n log n and base 2. But here these two parts are not equal. These two parts are not equal. It means what? If I try to write the recurrence relation for this particular case, what will be the recurrence relation? T of n equal to T of n upon 4 plus T of 3n by 4 n plus partition algorithm time. Let's suppose if I try to write the recurrence relation for this, so it is going to be T of n equal to n upon 3, T of n upon 3 plus T of 2 by 3 n plus partition time. So this is what the recurrence relation for this particular case, and this is the recurrence relation for this particular case. So in this case what will happen, base is going to be which part is greater in this case. So this obviously this part is greater and this part is smaller. So what would be the base in this case? So it is going to be 3 by 4. So it is going to be 4 by 3 actually. Okay, so what is the meaning? So if I take for this particular case, so in this case again this is the greater part, so this is the greater part. So what would be the base? 3 by 2. So this is the 3 by 2. So for this particular recurrence relation, time complexity is going to be n log n 3 by 2, base is going to be 3 by 2 n. So let's suppose, let me give you one more example. Let's suppose you are assuming first element as a pivot element. You are assuming first element as a pivot element, and after partition that pivot element reaches to its correct position. This side 1/10 elements are available, 1/10, and this side 9/10 elements are available. What is the meaning? Means 90% elements are available this side and 10% elements are available this side. So because it is dividing into two parts, so time complexity is going to be n log n. But this part is greater, so but what could be the base? In this case it is going to be 10 by 9. See, I will explain this concept in recursive tree method when I will explain the how to solve the recurrence relation using recursive tree method. Then how this 10 by 9 came into this existence, I will explain this concept into the recursive tree method. If you are understanding, then it is okay. If you are not understanding, then you can watch recursive tree method videos. So let us discuss in the recursive tree method. So this is all about quicksort.